The Outpost has been one of the most streamed films during the past few weeks, and it has also become one of the highest rated movies of 2020 so far. But I really don't understand the appeal. A small unit of US soldiers located deep within an Afghanistan valley battles an overwhelming force of Taliban fighters. I mean, the premise itself sounds interesting. The soldiers who were stationed at Outpost Keating were fighting a losing battle because the outpost itself was indefensible. But the movie was written by Eric Johnson and Paul Tomasi, who previously worked on Patriots Day, so the Outpost very much feels like a less distinctive, lower budgeted, patriotic Peter Berg movie. Only it stands out less because there isn't a strong screen presence like Mark Wahlberg to anchor the story and lead the film. The cast does include some known actors like Orlando Bloom, Scott Eastwood, and Caleb Landry Jones, but they all fail at making an impression on you because none of their characters have a distinct personality. The actors are all indistinguishable from one another. Even when we're introduced to these characters, on-screen text that includes everybody's name has to appear. But it's hard to retain that information when everyone looks the same and speaks the same and acts the same. Even after an hour and a half, it was incredibly hard for me to try and tell these characters apart. I couldn't tell you anything about anyone. Even when the on-screen text did appear to literally tell me who was who, the screen was so dark that I couldn't even see anyone's face. So the helpful text did nothing to distinguish these characters. For a film that relies heavily on action, it was frustrating to watch scenes that were too dark to even see. We all remember that episode of Game of Thrones, don't we? And the geography of this outpost is never really made clear. So even when I could see what was happening, I had a hard time understanding where everyone was in relation to each other. Not to mention that I never had a clear idea as to how many soldiers were supposed to be stationed at this outpost, on top of the fact that I couldn't really distinguish anyone from anyone else anyway. So when people were being injured or even killed, I just didn't care. And since the heart of the movie is this 40-minute long battle sequence that depicts the real-life Battle of Kamdesh in 2009, the impact of said battle feels less dramatic than it should. And even if you do find the climax to be engaging, the rest of the film is rather dull. There are sudden bursts of action, but you can catch on to the rhythm of the narrative rather quickly. The soldiers will butt heads, but then they'll start joking around and acting casual with one another. And once that fraternizing starts happening, you can expect some random gunshots and explosions. It's all fairly predictable. The film doesn't even know what kind of message it wants to convey. You would think that a movie that focuses on soldiers being stationed at a death trap would condemn certain military tactics during this war, yet the Outpost very much feels like military propaganda. And I know it's possible to praise the soldiers involved with this real-life event, while also criticizing the leadership that led them into a death trap in the first place, but the Outpost doesn't really feel as critical on military operations as it probably wants to be. This is not a complicated or thought-provoking experience. It's a simple yet long 2-hour movie with soldiers just doing soldier stuff. So if you're looking for something that shines a new light on the Afghanistan/Iraq war, you're not going to find it here. The Outpost doesn't offer any new perspective on a war that has been covered by countless other movies at this point. But if you're looking for a film that features some visceral army battles, then this may be for you, I guess. I'm sure Jake Tapper's nonfiction book, which this movie is based on, has some interesting details in it, but I thought this film left a lot to be desired. And for that, I would likely give The Outpost 2.25 out of 5 stars. Thanks for watching.